Have you wanted to try Dungeons & Dragons but haven't quite made the leap yet? Or maybe you've been playing D&D for a while and would like to try your hand at being a dungeon master. Or maybe you've got a group of brand new people you'd like to introduce to the game. Well, this next episode of the Art of Character podcast just may be for you. We're going to do a live unboxing of this brand new D&D starter set, Heroes of the Borderlands. We're going to get into the materials inside, a little bit of how you'd use them, and I'll give you my first impressions. I'm Chris. Welcome to the Art of Character Dungeons & Dragons podcast, where we explore all things D&D, but focus on the heart of the matter, the characters, which is appropriate for today because we're going to be getting into this brand new Dungeons & Dragons starter set, Heroes of the Borderlands. So this is great for getting some of those first characters, if you're new to the game, to get them up and running. So this new box set is supposed to be a standalone game, a shortened, simplified version of Dungeons & Dragons. It should help you get up and playing pretty quickly if you're a new group of players, or if you're a new dungeon master, should just show you how to be a DM in a shortened, simplified way. Now, again, this takes your characters from levels 1 through 3, and you can continue to replay it if you'd like to. They say there are about 40 or 50 hours worth of total material here, but replaying it, the game can be slightly different each and every time. And it's a throwback to this right here. This is the basic starter set from 1981. It also took your characters from levels 1 through 3, had everything you need for both player and dungeon master to play the game. Now, it's a shortened edition of first edition D&D, kind of like the starter set now is a shortened edition of the new 5e version of Dungeons & Dragons, the 2024 edition. So the 1981 edition also came with this. This is the Caves of Chaos, or Keep on the Borderlands. They're also in here. And so the new starter set has sort of additional new versions of these adventures, I understand, with some great new maps. So we're going to take a look at all that. I'll give you my first impression, do a live unboxing, and show you a few ways that you could use these materials in your game. Starting off with the brand new Heroes of the Borderland unopened starter set. See what it has there inside: a quick start guide, a play guide, 3 adventure booklets, some maps, 5 handouts, a combat tracker, 8 character class boards, 210 cards for characters, items, monsters, NPCs, and spells, 273 tokens for monsters, terrain, and resources, and a set of game dice. And looking here on the back, it says set up and play in minutes, go on epic adventures, choose your own way to play, all in one box, and it says you can replay this. All right, let's get into it. First time getting into the box, always so much fun to open up a new game, right? It's a tight fit. Okay. So here's the Read Me First, the Quick Start Guide. Retrieve the booklets and maps. Punch out the tokens. Retrieve the class boards. Sort the cards. So we'll sort of go through it and pretend like we're doing that for the first time. I am doing it for the first time. This talks a little bit about how you would play a character, choosing your role, who's going to be the dungeon master, and then how to get started. Choose your class, choose your origin, gather character components, place tokens, name your character. If you're the DM, it tells you what to do. Flip through the play guide, choose an adventure setting, gather adventure components, and then the adventure. You can do Caves of Chaos, Keep on the Borderlands, or the Wilderness. So this is some great artwork there, and I love that. This is reminiscent and a bit of a throwback to this right here, right? Very similar. I love it. So again, this is a shortened version of the rules. This is for both the DM and the player. You've got welcome, using the guide. It goes through. Here are the components. We've got equipment cards, spell cards, class boards, magic item cards, NPC cards, monster cards. We've got playing the game. It talks about the abilities, how you would play the game, just the rhythm of play. It talks about D20 tests, right? You roll a D20 to determine a lot of different things. We've got savings throws, attack rolls, advantage and disadvantage, the things you can do on your action, bonus actions, reactions. These are all part of the game, 5th edition D&D. Talks about exploration, light, role-playing, ability checks. What else do we have here? Finding hidden objects, hiding, then combat, the order of combat right here. So we're on page 13. It's already getting into combat. So we're talking about how you would play the game with squares, movement, and position, making and attack, range attacks, melee attacks, damage and healing, hit points, critical hits, savings throws. And this is great. We've got damage types, resistance and vulnerability, immunity, healing, dropping to 0 hit points, how you would fall unconscious, making death savings throws, conditions. Gets into spell casting a little bit here with range, duration, the effects of spells. And then it gives you some example, I guess, here of combat and damage, right? Sort of how that would play out. Got a rules glossary. It goes over really and just shows you how all the things it just mentioned with this brief rules glossary can just kind of, anyway, this is your reference right here. We've got cover. We've got the dash action. Anyway, and here are the rules. Let's see, how many pages? We're on page 29. You've got conditions here. Conditions are really important in playing D&D. They affect a lot of different things. Swimming, teleportation. So we are up to page 30 on the rules. So all the rules that the DM and the players need to get up and going right here in this play guide. All right, let's see what else we have here. We have an adventure booklet for the wilderness. Now, the wilderness section in the original sort of Keep on the Borderlands Caves of Chaos was pretty limited. But this tells you a little bit how to explore, how you might do combat in the wilderness, character adventures. There are regions that players can play in. There's the trail, for example. What else do we have? The woods, another region, and some maps for that. Here we go. Ooh, the Lizard Folk Swamp, the Flock of Sturges, Region 3, the Fens, Region 4, Tamarack Stand, and the encounters you might get in the wilderness. So, a lot of D&D adventures are in towns or in dungeons, right? Or caverns or lairs of bad guys, essentially. But this is another way to play, being out in the wilderness, doing exploration, and coming across creatures you would meet out there in the wild. These are some lizard folk. Pretty cool art. Keep on the Borderlands. This is what I'm super interested in. So the original version did not have a lot of details. It was just a couple of pages. There are a ton more. Again, love the art. Here is this. Oh, that's a cool. Look at that 3-dimensional Keep on the Borderlands with all the rooms within the keep. And this is very similar to the original basic version from 1981. Goes through and kind of gives you what's going on in each of the rooms, and there are some quests you can accept, right? Some things you can do. And gives you the details with the NPCs or, the other non-player characters who you will be encountering here within the Keep on the Borderlands. And the way this generally works is characters start off from the Keep on the Borderlands and then go out into the wilderness or go into the Caves of Chaos and do various short adventures and then come back to the Keep on the Borderlands to heal up, to get additional equipment, to sell things, to do whatever they need to do to continue their adventure. Yeah, the inner gatehouse. Love the art in here. Anyway, just a detail of a small fort, something you can do a lot of role-playing in and sort of get your equipment and everything you need to go out and adventure either into the wilderness or, into the Caves of Chaos. Oh, this is wonderful, too. So this is kind of a cool 3-dimensional map, very reminiscent of the original Caves of Chaos, right? You've got caves that go around like this, and basically each cave is its own subsystem, a small adventure. Kobold lair, Mephit lair, the Nothic lair, the Goblin lair, Ogre lair, Hobgoblin lair, the Shunned cave, the Bugbear lair, the Minotaur lair, the Knoll lair, and the Shrine of Evil Chaos. So this is a throwback. A lot of these locations are in the first Caves of Chaos. Some of these are new, though. The Nothic layer and the Mephit layer are new, for example. And anyway, it's going to go through each of these regions. The Kobold layer, what's going on in here, right? So you go through this entrance right here. You're going to meet some guys. You can either fight with them or negotiate with them. And it's going to go through each of these caves. So cave A, cave B, and there are we've got a total of 26 pages and, caves A through K. So I'll show you the bigger version of these maps. They're pretty short, pretty easy to run. You could easily do this in one session with your characters, right? You have a party of maybe 2 to 4 players. Usually 4 is a sweet spot, and you could come in and deal with at least one of these caves or at least one of these sections at a time, maybe even 2, depending on how long your session is. The 3-hour session, you should be able to do 2. Look right here, we've got the goblin lair, or the ogre lair, excuse me. That's pretty short, and that is very similar to the original Caves of Chaos. Hobgoblin lair, it's pretty organized right there. Let's see what else we have. The Shunned Cave. The Bugbear lair, that's a throwback to the original also. And these are great maps. They've got some 3-dimensional artwork and sort of texturing going on. The original maps were just kind of lines on a grid, blue lines on a grid, not much texture at all. The Minotaur lair, always a scary one, the Minotaur. The Knoll lair. And then the Shrine of Evil Chaos. That's pretty cool. This goes way back to that original basic set, Caves of Chaos. The Shrine of Evil Chaos is in there. Noble Adventures. Here's a cool letter, right? Get you started. Just a little piece of flair. I love things I can hand to my characters. This is pretty cool. Provisioner list, a short list of items you can buy to go out on your adventures. Oh, awesome. The Drunken Dragon menu, right? So, something that comes up for DMs as characters say, I want to go into the tavern and I want to order some meat or some ale. And there are some things in the DM's guide for a lot of this stuff that you can do, but this is just a quick, easy menu you can hand right to your characters. Great. I love a good prop. Sacred services, so things you can get from the local priest. Some other items you can trade for. Probably all in the keep. And then we're going to get into this is probably the good stuff. So Cave A, these are double-sided. So this is Cave A and B, Cave C, Cave F, and we'll take a look at all of these. Cave H, probably H and I. What else do we have? I'll fold all these out and take a quick look at each of them so you can see what's going on. Here's a map of the keep. A little bit of paper holding it all together. Caves J. This looks like it's the wilderness stuff. Then we have these here. So there's a lot of stuff in here, I got to tell you. So there are these, you got player cards. So we've got the cleric, right? And it looks like what you do is, so this is essentially a bit of a pre-rolled character, though not entirely. You need to put some equipment here. You need to put some spells here, some other equipment here. So, and some information on how you would play a cleric. It's a level 1 cleric, level 3 cleric, and it looks like, okay, there's your level 3 subclass light domain. There's your level 2 cleric. So these 2 cards right here take you from level 1 to 3. There's your fighter level 1 and 2 and 3. Same with the rogue. Levels 1 through 3 on the 2 cards. Gets you up and going pretty quickly, though. You don't have to go and roll a character. It's an excellent, fun thing to do in D&D, but if you're brand new, it can be a little bit overwhelming, and these are great. A quick, easy way to roll up a character. Then you could be a wizard also. Look at this. We've got tokens. So we've got gold pieces and monster or bad guy tokens. I love these things. Props, they just bring the table to life, add some color, add some character. Some more monster tokens. Look like, ooh, there's probably a carrion crawler there. What else do we have? Oh, there's an owl bear. If you saw the D&D movie, Honor Amongst Thieves, there was an owl bear there. That's probably a big ogre or something. We've got some player tokens, just some basic ones. You can always make your own, too. Looks like some terrain features, pile of bones, some treasures. All right. So then we've got these, looks like power tokens, and I'm not sure exactly how you use those, and hit point tokens and gem tokens. So I'm sure it explains that in the rules. I have not seen that before. Just a divider. Then we're going to get into the cards. So set of basic dice, 11 dice. That's all you need to get started and play. Little bags right here to keep your items sort of together and organized. This is cool. Got this little combat tracker card, so this is great for a DM to keep track of death saves and failures for the cleric, fighter, rogue, or wizard. And then you've got initiative and combat, so basically every time you're in combat, you can use this little sheet as a DM to help you track what's going on in combat. Cool little handout. All right, let me see what else is in here. All right, little divider. All right, so we've got some new cards. These say, on your turn in combat. So move up to your speed, take one action, communicate, interact with things, or take one bonus action. So it's got these little tabs here, little pull strings on the side, and those are great. It's on the side, not on the face of the card, so prevents you from doing some damage. All right, let's see what all we have in here. So these are on your turn, so every character gets one of these. That would be a great thing to hand out to actually current players, right? Finish our unboxing here, unwrapping these cards. We've got NPCs, and I'll go over all these cards. I'll show them to y'all real quickly. Got this last set of cards right here. So we're going to go through these monster cards first. This is a DM section, so if you're a player and you haven't played the game yet, don't go through these right now. It'll spoil some of the surprises, so spoiler alert. Animated flying sword, and you got your stat block there on the back, so real easy for a DM to use. What else do we have? We've got bandits, bugbear warriors. This is great art. Carrion crawler, commoner. Wish we had these back in the day. Common dragon, wormling, occultist, a curate or a curate. Giant centipede, giant fire beetle, giant spider, gnoll warrior, goblin boss, goblin warrior, gray ooze glob, a guard, guard captain, hobgoblin warrior, the Ivlis, Jacko, jelly cube, also known as gelatinous cube, the knight, the kobold warrior, Kuatoa marauder, lizard folk warden, mimic, Minotaur of Baphomet, Narthus, a noble. Really, that's more of an NPC. Well, maybe they're a bad guy in this one. It says monster. The Nothic, the ogre. Look at that scary ogre. Again, stat blocks on the back. Real easy for the DM to use. These are for the DM, not for the player. Ogre zombie. Woohoo, scary. Owlbear, prawl or prowl. Red dragon wormling. Skeleton. Sprite skirmisher. Steam method. A sturge, the Vinx, a white life drinker, and zombie. I love zombies. All right, let's go through some of these cards. Look like we've got NPCs, Andrala, Bartho, Cornflower, Dwern. Again, it's got information about them and what they might do on the back. Halandra, Fazir, Gala. So this whole series of NPCs, Lank, Malin, Olira, Quink, Ruckus. These are great. Fantastic artwork, modern artwork. And it says this is for ages 12 and up. So some additional items here. We've got equipment cards, acid, antitoxins, ball bearings, right? Ball bearings always great. A tabard. Or a robe, really, I guess. Breastplate, armor, chainmail, chain shirt. Cultists' robes. Well, I guess you could be a cultist if you wanted to. I'm not sure how these work into the game, but haha, maybe they do. Dagger, great sword. I guess you could put on the robe and sneak in somewhere. Hand crossbows, healer's kits, holy water, lantern, bunch of lanterns. Everybody can have a lantern, I guess. We've got leather armor, longsword, mace, maul, musical instrument. What else do we have? More musical instruments. Healing potions. Everybody needs at least one healing potion. Tells you what it does there in the back, how to use it. A rapier, rope, a shield, another shield, short bow, short sword, spear, spellbook. Wizard needs a spellbook. Some more armor options. thieves' tools for your rogue. Go through these real quick. Looks like you've got some background options. So use these when you're building your character. You pick a background. You could be acolyte, criminal, entertainer, farmer, guide, hermit. It's going to give you the information on the back, how to use those. Soldier. Then you can pick your species, right? This is part of your background or your origin. You can be a dwarf, male or female, elf, female, male, halfling, or human. The main kind of some of the core species you can pick. And we've got a list of magic items. Again, so if you're a player, skip through this. This would be a bit of a surprise. You wouldn't want to know all of this. +1 mace, plate armor, short bow, short sword, boots of elvenkind, cloak of billowing. Those are kind of cool. More for effect, really, than anything. Cloak of elvenkind, clockwork amulet. Those are neat. Clothes of mending. Dread helm, eyes of the eagle. You can see better. Pole of collapsing, potion of fire breath, potion of healing, potion of healing, potion of invisibility, potion of resistance, slippers of spider climb, and scroll or spell scroll of fireball. So some magic items. Those are for the DM to hand out to you. And then we've got spells. So let's see what the spell list is that we're starting with. We've got aid. So these are arcane. Well, yeah. Are they? No, they're not divided by class, so that's got to be in the rules set. Aid, arcane lock, bless. That's a cleric spell. Burning hands, wizard spell, usually color spray. Cure wounds, usually cleric, detect good and evil. Druid craft, fairy fire, feather fall, good berry. It's a healing spell. Grease, makes things slippery, people fall down. Give guidance to help people out. Guiding bolt, does damage. Healing word, heals from a distance. Inflict wounds, invisibility, lesser restoration. Light, makes things long strider, you can move faster. Mage armor, these cards are decent quality. They're thick, and as you can see, they're kind of slippery. They're moving around. Mage hands, pick things up from a distance. Magic missile, always hits and damage. Melf's acid arrow, does damage. Message. Misty step, kind of do a brief, short distance teleport. Protection from good and evil. Ray of frost, do damage. Ray of sickness, make them sick, do damage. Sacred flame, do damage. Sanctuary, prevent from being damaged. Scorching ray, damage. See invisibility, shatter, damage spell, shield, shield of faith, shocking grasp, zap, right? Sleep, spare the dying, spiritual weapon, Tasha's hideous laughter, thaumaturgy, thunderwave, and toll the dead, also another damage spell. Okay, so here's how you would do a character. So we're a fighter. We're going to pick our background card over here. And this is what you would do. You would be a soldier, and it tells you about your background right there. Then you would pick your species, and in this case, we're going to do dwarf. We're going to have a dwarven fighter. So then here for equipment, it says great starting card, great sword, or starting card, chainmail. Those are suggestions, but you put your cards here. Okay, so building out this character, we're going to take the suggestions. We're going to do great sword. Tells you about your damage, which is 2d6s plus your strength modifier. Your strength modifier is +3. We're going to put a shield here. That's going to improve your armor class by +2. And then if you use this right here, so your armor class, I guess your base armor class has 11. Your armor class is going to be 16 right there if you're using chainmail. And then with this shield, it should increase it to 18, right? Anyway. So there you go. It shows you your speed, your hit points that you start off with, and then as first level, you get more hit points as you go up each level. Initiative, so when you roll initiative, that's usually at the beginning of combat. You have a +1 to that roll. You roll a d20 for that, for example. And then you've got these skills here. So you have strength, that's your strength modifier, and then a +5 for your strength savings throw, a +5 for athletics. So the dungeon master may call for an athletics check. You're trying to climb some surface or some wall or something. He may say, roll a strength check. You would roll a d20 and add a +5 to that. So that's called a d20 skill check. Anyway, it goes through the rest of your skills here. You've got animal handling, insight, medicine, perception, survival. Then we've got here your dexterity, acrobatics, sleight of hand. That's basically hiding things or deceiving things, stealth, sneaking around, right? Arcana, history, investigation, nature, and religion. Then charisma. It looks like your charisma is relatively low, probably a 10. It has you at +0. This tells you what you need to play. It looks like it says chainmail, great sword, short bow, and lantern are the suggested items. And we could pull those extra cards here and put your equipment right here also. So anyway, that's how you would get going, get up and running with a basic first level fighter. Just that simple, just that easy. Tells you a little bit about what it means to be a dwarf. You have some extra abilities there to keep track of. And then this soldier right here, you have background. It tells you some things that happen if you are a soldier. There's some other information beneath this. Right? It tells you how to play a fighter, gives you fighter tips, recommended origin, what you need to gain to level, and then it also gives you this second wind ability. Looks like you get that at first level here. So awesome. Just a way to get up and going quickly without having to fully roll up a character, but gives you some ability to customize. So I would love this as a new player. My first time playing, just learning the basics of D&D, this would be fantastic. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the maps. These are the fens. This is one of the areas that's outside in the wilderness, for example. So that's pretty cool. We'll flip it over. This artwork, these maps are nice. This is pretty amazing. So this is the tamarack stand. Take a look at it that way. Great map. So this map is the trail. Also great artwork, very colorful. One of the locations in the wilderness. This is a large one. These are the woods. You can take a look at it that way. I'm trying not to fold them, so I'm putting them sideways for you. I'm trying not to fold them to do the creasing on the wrong side, but there you go. Each of these grids is going to be 5 feet. It says right there. So when you use those tokens or markers, you have movement. Let's say your movement in combat is 30 feet. You move 6 squares. Or if you're dashing, you would move twice as many. Take a look at the keep next. This is kind of your home base, if you will. So anyway, that's pretty cool. 3-dimensional map. You could move your tokens around here, but it just kind of gives you a sense of what the keep would look like. Maybe not super important to have tokens and move around. This is just more so for a sense of scale and where you would go for different things that you wanted to. Say the DM may say, I want to go and check out an armory, or I want to get supplied, or I want to talk to a thief, or what's this building? Let's go here. You know, who do I meet? Who do I see? And that's kind of how that works. So this is a larger map of the wilderness. It gives you kind of a sense as a player and a DM. We got the tamarack stand, the fens, the trail, and the woods. So anyway, players can say, I want to go here, we want to go there, and the DM will play the game accordingly. How you adventure, how you fight things that you come across, how you may find gold or treasure. All right, here's the Caves of Chaos. So this first map, this is, right, it just kind of shows you the entrances for all the caves. And each of these is kind of its own sub-adventure. So you go up different levels and then, anyway, Cave A, for example. You don't have to go to Cave A first, but you don't really know what's behind each and every door. So usually, but not always, the lower letters are going to be better for beginning. Here's Cave E, for example. Great map, great terrain. This is a big map. This is a big map. This is Cave K. Man, great detail on there. There we've got Cave H again. Fantastic artwork, great poster maps. And I don't know if you've ever had to do this before. I certainly have, but printing these things out can be expensive. They give you images or you try to take them and getting them blown up at a copy store. It's expensive to do this, especially if you're doing color, like real expensive. So the maps are a great value for that reason alone. Anyway, I've gotten this stuff printed out before and spent way more money than I'd like to getting maps printed out, even just in black and white poster size for the table. So this is a great value for the set. So there we've got Cave F, another just massive map. Give you an idea. Great artwork. This is Cave G. Some outside stuff and some inside stuff. Got a pool there. Cave G. Cave C here. just showing you all this artwork so you see everything that you're getting in the set. If you're a DM, these maps will make this thing just so much easier to play. Just being able to put the tokens right here, having it be life size, or I guess kind of standard table size, 1-inch grids equal 5 feet, and that's been standard in D&D for a long time. Cave A. All right, so the Heroes of the Borderlands Starter Set. This is great, I believe. There is a lot of value in this kit. The maps alone, it would take you a lot of money to go ahead and get all the maps printed out for this adventure and have table size posters, essentially. And then we've got all of these resources to get players up and going quickly. I love these player cards, for example, an easy way to get a character. You get some customization, but a bit of it is pre-rolled also. Then we've got all of these other card resources here. How to play the game, essentially. The Jelly Cube. These are your NPCs, your equipment, your spells, your species. There's also background cards. There are other cards. Then there's this massive amount of tokens also. Then these handouts here that players can get for things like trading. So I love all these things they can put in your hands, and some resources to help both the Dungeon Master get up and playing pretty quickly and get a new group up and playing. And then also, if you're a brand new character, to use these things to get a character sort of rolled up or created fairly quickly and get on the table gaming and just get a sense or a flavor about what Dungeons and Dragons is like. And then you can do some progression. You can go all the way from level 1 up to level 3. So you're not just always at the same level. You can add on to your spells and your abilities, your equipment. You're going to get gold and treasure and things like that. I think this is a great set. I think it's got a phenomenal value. There's a lot here. The box is full. The quality of the materials is fantastic. So if you are a new player, or if you are a new Dungeon Master, you want to be a Dungeon Master, you want to learn it, or if you are a group of people who want to play who have never played the game before, or if you've got a group of players who you want to get into the game, maybe you're a Dungeon Master, this would be a great set to kind of get them going, get started, and teach them a game in a simplified, sort of easy fashion. It is essentially 5th edition, the 2024 version of the rules, but it is simplified and it is shortened. So anyway, I say go out and get it. A great buy. 2 thumbs up. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Art of Character podcast, where we publish new Dungeons and Dragons related content each and every week. If you want to support the channel, you can like, comment, or subscribe, or click below and you can join our Patreon, or click below and you can purchase something from our merch store, like this really cool t-shirt just like this. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us.